Quilty Crew. We are here at H&H Americas in Chicago. We are live. This is our last stream of the event. This is the last day of the event. Man, I can't tell you how much fun it's been and what an experience. If you've never been to a show, an industry show in person, you got to. If you're in the industry, there's nothing like it. The connections you make and the people you make, it's been amazing and fantastic. Magical, I would even say. I want to give a quick thank you to the sponsors of the Creator Studio real quick, to Whatnot, to Made It Myself TV, and to Gosati. Thank you to them immensely. I can't say how much thank you again. I've been to their booths. I've talked to them. They've been very warm, very welcoming. They were very glad to sponsor the Creative Studio. So, and from what it seems like, the investment has been made, quote unquote. So this should be here next year. So keep an eye out. I'll more than likely be back again next year for sure to kind of, keep breaking in the studio. There's a couple like little things I could say that needs to be a little more worked out and refined, but otherwise, it's been fantastic. The technology's great. The mic's been great. As a streamer, I couldn't be happier, honestly. But that leads me, Luke, how have you taken, because you're on the back end. He doesn't want to be on camera because, he doesn't want to be on camera. How have you felt about the studio? How do you like it?
Some parts that I want to buy for us.
I mean, that is saying something, because you've worked in AV for 12 years, well, more than that now, but you did like convention shows and things like that for 12, 13 years over in Denver, right? What kind is your takeaway?
Yeah, I've done, large conventions, not little small booths like this, but, compared to what we have sitting at home for some of this stuff, I love the Rodecaster. Wish it wasn't a Mac. That's mine. I'm not a Mac person.
I'm not a Mac person either, for sure. But you've liked it though, and you've liked the camera too. Did you ever figure out what kind of camera they're using here for my shot?
It's an OBS Bot 4K.
A Bot 4K? I've never heard of that.
Me either.
It's really nice though, because it tracks my face, and I'm totally down for that. Especially, you guys know how much I move around, and I'm very squirrely. So yeah, it's honestly, this is kind of like our takeaway stream. And I will say I could not be happier. This is the second year for H&H Americas. They've been running H&H Cologne for quite a few years, and they've got that one down pat. But they wanted to come, and this has just been like a really big umbrella, right? And we have threads and yarns and fabric and quilters and fashion and just everything like under one roof, and it just feels really good to be able to. I talked to several different like people who work with yarn and knitting and things, and like they're coming out with products that are like hand creams that kind of lightly scent your yarn and things like that. I would have never met her and talked to her in any other situation because she goes to yarn conventions, right? That's her thing. What's up, dear?
Nothing.
Okay. He was giving me the eye, like he was examining the camera or something. But
I was just realizing that nobody ever pulled off the film on the camera.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, it's still on there. So it's. I was like, that's why it's slightly blurry.
Slightly blurry.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a thing. We probably should have taken that off. I didn't even realize that. We've done that. This is our 5th stream, and we didn't notice that up to now. That's pretty funny. But yeah, this show has been really and very approachable. I've been to the big Houston market, in October. It's been quite a few years, but it's always been one of those where if you're not really deep into the industry, not many of the big boys want to talk to you, the distributors and some of the fabric companies. And a lot of the fabric companies are appointment only when you go to Houston, right? But here, it's much more laid back. Of course, it's only the second year, and this is like the first year major fabric companies have come. So there's a little more leeway, a little more wiggle room, a little less formality, right? That's kind of my big thing. because I was able to talk to several different fabric companies. I have plans. I can't talk about them yet. Everything is redacted. But we've got plans, and I talked to a distributor yesterday, and there's some exciting things in the works, right? And and honestly, I was talking to Megan from Ruby Star Society. We got people live walking by. You got to stop and say hi, right? But I was talking to her. She was talking to me about other shows that have fabric companies and things like that that just aren't open to streaming. They haven't been, and it's been a thing for the past couple years where I'll go and I'll say, yeah, I'm a streamer. Yeah, I'm a content creator. Before COVID, no one really knew what that meant or cared even. But with COVID happening in the pandemic and everybody getting used to cameras and having a mic in your face and things have kind of started opening up for us. And this is the first show, the first major industry show to have a creator streaming booth. And I hope it's not the last. I really hope that the other shows will look at this and see how accessible it made this show for other people. Hey, the mic gets picked up with you wiggling around.
I'm listening, it's not.
Oh, it's not? Well, I can hear it. We had to get our coffee. I went with a paradise drink, and Luke went with a caramel ribbon, right? Yeah, but he doesn't like coffee, so it has to be cream based. It has to pinky up. It has to be cream based. But yeah, I really hope that the other shows can take away that this is something that people want. I was talking to Abby from Craft and Industry Alliance, and I will say huge shout out to her and to the Craft Industry Alliance. Honestly, if she had not made introductions with me and the VP of this show and being able to work on the equipment and just kind of giving feedback. I mean, you guys know I'm a little bit of a small fish for now, right? But he treated me with respect. He listened to what info I had in my input, right? And I got to give respect to that. I got to give props to that, because not everybody will do that. They'll think, oh, well, you're just a small fish. What do you know, right? But when your partner's an AV engineer who's worked in the industry for 16 years, you kind of know what you're talking about a little bit, just a little bit. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to coming back next year. And here's a surprise right now. I think we're going to be going to Houston. That's kind of we're live. You can't do this, and it all works. So people are checking out the studio. It's pretty nice in here. So yeah. But I tell you, it's been a really great experience, and I cannot say enough. And yes, I know I'm rambling. I can't help it. You guys know me. But yeah, it looks like we might be going to Houston this coming year, and we'll definitely be trying to do some live streams. It'll more than likely just be me heading out. I won't have my beautiful tech engineer coming with me and being able to run things behind the camera. But I think we can handle it, don't you? Yeah.
I mean, it's just gonna be your phone, because they're not gonna have a setup like this for you.
Maybe we might be able to talk to a couple people and get another studio set up. Wouldn't that be a thing for Market to kind of follow suit after H&H and kind of?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I wasn't the only one streaming here. We just met some authors who do a lot of knit and crochet. They were in here using the booth. There's been YouTubers and podcasters. It's been a thing, and I've talked to quite a few content creators who didn't even realize they had seen it kind of talked about, but they didn't really know what it was. So now people have seen it, they know it. Next year, there's going to be a lot more competition getting into this booth. I can guarantee it. I can guarantee it.
We're going to bring your own decorations.
My own decorations? Yeah, everything is kind of a little different, right? But, I can't complain. But yeah, next year we'll bring our own stuff, and it'll all be Quilty Crew, right? We also, I want to give a shout out to Quilt Tony. You guys know, if you've been following the Quilty Crew for a while, Quilt Tony is my quilt sister from another mister, okay? One of the original 3. And I miss Gabby immensely, but she's got her own thing, and she's doing amazing things. But I got to see Quilt Tony while I was here and got to reconnect with her, and I can't tell you enough what a beautiful and generous person she is. If you haven't gone and followed her stream at Quilt Tony, go do it and follow her, because she's been in this industry and on this side of things much longer than I have, and she has been very helpful in like kind of giving me like, yeah, this is how you want to do it. This is don't those kinds of little tidbits that not many people honestly in any industry, right? There's always so much fierce competition. And I have worked really hard to surround myself with people and to be that kind of person that wants to lift others up, right? Because I'm very much a person who feels like if you rise the tide, all the ships, they all rise too. So I know I said that saying wrong, but I don't give two shits.
Rising tide lifts all ships.
I mean, isn't that what I just said?
Not quite, but similar.
I mean, it was close.
Yeah.
But yeah, but you kind of got excited too because we kind of ran into a camera mount place that typically work with truckers, right? But they've kind of ventured into here that, I mean, there's some really nice mounts and some really good stainless steel, and yeah, what do you think about all that?
I mean, that was being able to just plop down, mount your phone, mount a tablet, and go. That's very convenient.
Yeah, very much so, and less wibbly wobbly than my tripod. I had asked them about that, about whether they are planning on doing a tripod that's weighted, and it's not in the works yet, but they're thinking about it.
Yeah.
So that's a thing. Yeah. And then we also talked to Innova, the long arm quilting company. They do long arm machines. Sorry, I can't help it. I can't help but tap. But they have a beautiful long arm, and of course their machine has purple accents, and I'm totally not, flaunting the purple right now. But it definitely gave us something to think about and something to add to streaming content, because it'd be pretty easy to add cameras and do live streams.
Very entertaining.
You could.
But we need, 30 to 50,000 to get the unit first.
I mean, that's true. If there's any angels out there that wants to see long arms, let me know. Yeah, long arms are not inexpensive. They are an investment, that's for sure. And that's not necessarily something that I specialize in, right? Because I've never really had a long arm, but it is something we keep talking about. Just because as our company grows and as the stream grows, I want to be able to bring that kind of content to you guys. So that might be something down the pipeline in like 5 to 10 years. Who knows at this point? Is there anything else you took away from the show? Because you've kind of been in the background listening and hearing all of us quilty people, sewy people, crafty people jittering and jabbering. Because you went to the Craft Industry Alliance dinner as well.
Yeah, but I couldn't hear anything there with everybody talking around me. I've kind of blocked a lot of it out because I've been out of my element and I've had to go back to the room to work during the days.
That's true. That's true. I mean, for me, my hearing, I'm getting older, and it's one of those things you kind of have to accept of yourself as you get older. But just trying to hear, even across the table, was a little difficult.
Yep.
But everybody has been super friendly, and yeah, we met. I got a funny little story for you. So the hotel we were staying at, we had just finished breakfast, and we were getting onto our elevator, and we were gonna go up to our floor. And there was an older woman and a younger woman standing there, and we kind of started talking because they had their little badges. I actually am wearing mine now with our little sundress up berry. But we were kind of talking, and she was asking me what I do and those kinds of things. And the elevator doors opened, and I'm talking with her, so I follow her off of the elevator as we're talking. And she looks at me, she's like, I think you're on the wrong floor. And I looked at him like, shit. My goldfish brain was so apparent at that point. Of course, it was early morning, and it's been a very busy show. So I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. And I got on the floor and didn't think anything really of it besides, like, I'm a silly goober, right? Well, the beautiful thing is we had headshots yesterday, and they came out so amazing. I'm so excited. But the person who was on that elevator was the same person who is taking my photos. And I'll tell you, it was Gail Zucker. You got to go follow her on Instagram, Gale Zucker. Amazing woman. She told me her story. She's worked for the New York Times and all these publications and heavy stories, and she's a knitter, and she's been working with the craft industry, and like just going around the show, you can see her photos in different booths for advertising and for books and all this kind of stuff. And she was doing my headshots. And it was just a very magical experience. And to be able to talk to somebody who has not only been a professional photographer, an artist, and a crafter, and kind of seeing her side of things and how the world kind of has worked for her. And it's been a really enjoyable just getting all those different stories from all these different people, because a lot of the people in the industry have been here a while. So it's nice to take those nuggets of knowledge and go forward with it, right? Because I'm relatively young compared to some of the people who've been in this industry 30, 40 years. You know what I mean? So I'm coming in as a greenhorn. And I think I've made waves a little bit, because people have noticed the purple hair. You can't ignore me. And I mean, there's a lot of me to ignore. Well, I think we're kind of coming up on time. I know these streams have been really super short, and I'm sorry for that, but like there's only so much time we can book in the creator studio. So we'll be back on Wednesday, more than likely, to our normal schedule, where we're gonna be doing some Twitch streaming. There's been some developments that I really can't talk about yet, but for now we're gonna keep the streams on Twitch, and we'll go forward. But do keep an eye out on the YouTube. We are going to be putting out videos, and more than likely I'm going to be uploading our VODs from Twitch over to YouTube, because VODs just don't stick around on Twitch, and it's a shame, because some of these moments are pretty funny, at least to me anyway, right? All right, Quilty Crew, thank you so much. Thank you for everyone for the follows, for the subscriptions, for the likes, for everything. Everybody's support has just made this trip for me more than worth it. It's been probably one of the best experiences I've had in my professional career, honestly. So thank you again to H&H Americas for having me in the creator studio. Thank you to Whatnot and Made It TV, or Made It Myself TV, I apologize, and to Gosati. I always have a trouble with that one. But thank you guys so much for sponsoring the creator studio. It's super appreciated, and very lovely to meet all of you. So I will see you guys on Wednesday. We'll be back, and more than likely we're going to be finishing up our Christmas in July pattern, which that's another person I got to meet, and we'll talk about that on Wednesday. So all right, Quilty Crew, I love y'all. Stay safe, and I'll see you soon.